Elon Musk, one of the wealthiest and most visionary minds in the world. But what if he walked into a company not as a billionaire, but as a regular job applicant? That's exactly what happened, and the chain of events that followed changed an entire company forever. Before we begin, comment where you're watching from, and if this story speaks to you, hit the like and subscribe button. Let's begin. On a cool Monday morning, a medium-sized software company in Los Angeles was abuzz with energy. It was recruitment day, and the HR department was preparing for a full schedule of interviews. Among the candidates that morning was a man in a simple gray t-shirt, worn jeans, and sneakers. His hair was unkempt, and his demeanor quiet. He signed in under the name Elon Reeves, holding a minimalist resume in hand. No one recognized him. No flashy watch, no entourage. The receptionist glanced at him indifferently. "Take a seat. We'll call your name." He nodded politely and sat in the corner of the waiting area. Nearby, a young intern whispered to a coworker, "Who shows up looking like that to a tech interview?" Elon overheard the comment but said nothing. He just waited. Elon was eventually called into the interview room. A young HR manager, Jason, barely looked up from his desk as Elon walked in. Jason skimmed the CV, scoffed, and raised an eyebrow. "Rocket engineering? Really? This resume is eccentric." Elon smiled lightly. "I believe in innovation, sometimes from the ground up." Jason chuckled sarcastically. "Well, Mr. Reeves, we're looking for real experience. This doesn't quite cut it. We'll be in touch." Within 5 minutes, the interview was over. As Elon exited the room, he passed a group of staff laughing by the coffee machine. One of them muttered, "Another dreamer." The following morning, the CEO of the company, Daniel, found a large envelope on his desk. Inside was a formal letter and several legal documents. The letter read, "Yesterday, I applied to your company under a false name to observe how you treat candidates with no obvious prestige or wealth. Unfortunately, your hiring process revealed deep-rooted bias and a lack of respect. This morning, I finalized the purchase of 51% of your company's shares. Regards, Elon Musk." Daniel's jaw dropped. He reread the letter twice. Elon Reeves was the Elon Musk. Word spread like wildfire through the office. People were stunned. Jason, the HR manager, turned pale. The intern who had mocked Elon nervously deleted their messages and tweets. Within hours, Elon arrived at the office, but this time not as a candidate. He stepped out of a Tesla Model S, flanked by legal advisors and senior consultants. The receptionist stood up in shock. Elon simply smiled. "Good morning. I believe we have some restructuring to do." An all-hands meeting was scheduled immediately. Employees gathered in the main conference room, whispers echoing across the space. Elon stood at the head of the room, composed and confident. "Yesterday, I came here not to seek employment, but to test your culture. What I found was disappointing. You judged me based on how I looked, not what I had to offer. That mindset is poison to innovation." Silence. No one dared to speak. Elon called out names one by one, those who laughed, those who ignored, those who mocked. Jason, the HR manager? Terminated. The intern who ridiculed Elon? Let go. 2 senior engineers who turned their backs when Elon walked in? Demoted. "Talent isn't defined by appearances or Ivy League credentials," Elon said. "It's defined by vision, effort, and respect." Within the same week, Elon began transforming the company. A new HR policy was drafted. Interviews became blind. Resumes no longer showed names, photos, or schools. Instead, real-world problem-solving and empathy were prioritized. A previously rejected candidate with a background in community coding projects was hired as the new engineering lead. Elon personally called several applicants who had been previously ignored or unfairly dismissed. "I want to give you the opportunity you deserve," he told one woman who'd been rejected for not having a degree. "Come build the future with us." She joined a new department focused on accessible technology, and within months became one of the top performers. Jason, now jobless, watched the news as his former company was praised for radical cultural reform. His LinkedIn inbox was silent. For the first time, he realized what he'd lost: not just a job, but a chance to grow. He wrote an email to Elon. "Thank you for teaching me the lesson no MBA ever could." Elon invested millions into a new R&D lab inside the company. But it wasn't just for engineers. It was for any staff member with an idea. From janitors to junior devs, anyone could pitch projects. The first prototype built in that lab? A clean energy microgrid designed by a 22-year-old who previously worked in the mailroom. News outlets began picking up the story. Elon Musk secretly applies to tech company, then buys it to reform hiring practices. Social media exploded. People praised the bold move, and job seekers around the world felt hope that merit still mattered. Elon issued a new company motto: "Judge potential, not appearance." It was engraved into the lobby wall in brushed steel. Every employee, old and new, had to pass through those words every day. Elon held one-on-one meetings with long-term employees. "I don't want robots. I want people who think, care, and challenge norms," he told one skeptical engineer. Slowly, even the most cynical staff began to change. They realized leadership wasn't about titles. It was about purpose. 6 months later, a young boy sent a letter to the company. "Thank you for believing in people like my mom. She works for you now and says it's the best job she ever had." That letter was framed and hung in the main hall. Elon stood on the company's rooftop, looking out over the city. Next to him stood a young woman, the same candidate who'd once been rejected. "You know," Elon said, "sometimes the best ideas come from the most unexpected places. That's why I did this. To remind the world that respect should never be optional." He came in as a stranger and left as a legend. This wasn't just about one man. It was a lesson to every company, everywhere. Never judge a book by its cover, because that book might just rewrite your future.